Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Catherine Spinney, and today we will be talking about 3 ways you can continue to grow as a leader during this time. I started doing Facebook Lives last week as a result of everything that's going on and not being able to be with you in person. And we were able to build so many connections, and people were able to not just receive the information, but share information with each other, which is the point of all of this, right? To connect with one another and to share ideas and support and resources during this time. So I will be here all week at 1 o'clock, and the theme of this week is going to be the number 3. So every state, every city is handling this situation a little bit different, but for most of us, this is week 3 of being working from home, and those of us who have children in school, this for many of us is week 3 of our homeschooling adventure. So it might be week 2, week 4, depending on where you are, but let's go with 3 to make it nice and neat. And what we're going to do today, so today we're going to talk about 3 ways to continue to grow yourself as a leader during this time. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about 3 team building activities that you can do with your team today or tomorrow. And I encourage you to come to that session and bring some of your own ideas about what you have been using with your team. Again, my goal is to have people help one another, connect with one another, and share resources with one another, because everybody is working hard to be resourceful and resilient and creative and adjust to everything that's going on. And it's great if people can share their ideas. Welcome, Kim. I'm so glad to have you here as a trained educator. Very happy to have your ideas, particularly on Wednesday. So Wednesday, we're going to talk about ways to stay connected with your students during this time. So again, our theme is 3. Today is 3 ways to continue growing as a leader during this time. Tomorrow will be 3 team activities you can walk away with after the session to start doing with your team. On Wednesday, we will focus on 3 ways to stay connected with your students during this time. If you are in the after-school world, or you are an educator, or however you might serve students, how to continue to serve them during this time. On Thursday, we're going to do a real coachy session that I'm really excited about, which is called 3 Steps You Can Take to Create the Way You Feel. This is a huge coaching concept that we are in control of how we feel, which is true at all times, and how we might use that during this particular time when our feelings seem to be very strong, and sometimes they can feel like they're out of control, but we're going to learn that we can actually control the way that we feel. It's really empowering. Hey, Fran, welcome. Thanks for being here. And then on Friday, I'm going to talk to all of my entrepreneurial folks about 3 things to know before you start your business. So if you are thinking of starting a business, if this situation we're in has motivated you to start thinking about starting a business, if you've already taken some steps, if you're just getting started, Friday is for you. We're going to talk about ways to or 3 important things for you to think about before you venture into starting your own business. So that is our schedule for this week. I will be here at 1 o'clock, same time every day this week with a new topic. I encourage you to invite those who may benefit from these videos. You can invite them live. You can invite them through the event. You can share the video after it's done. Hey Holly, thanks for being here. I'm so glad you enjoy the videos. So please share with any and everyone who might benefit. I also encourage you to share in the comments. So it's both for the benefit of those who are with us live and also for those who will be watching this not live. So after this is over, this gets posted to my Facebook page as well as to my YouTube channel so people can watch it again and again. And right here on Facebook, they get to look through the comments. So as we share ideas and resources, you're also benefiting the people who will be watching this after the fact. So if you would like to give me a little wave to know who's here, I am again Catherine Spinney. I'm so grateful to connect with you today. I am coming to you from my living room in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm so happy to talk about leadership because this is a topic I talk about all year round. This is what my work is largely, is helping leaders become the leaders that they strive to be. And during a crisis, this is where the rubber meets the road, as they say. So as a leader, you are being called in all sorts of ways and directions to lead in maybe ways you haven't led before. So some of my previous videos last week were specifically about how to lead during a crisis. And that talked about 3 things to start doing, stop doing, and continue doing. So I'm happy to share that with you. I encourage you to check out that video as well. So today what we're going to talk about is how you can use this time to continue developing yourself as a leader and to continue strengthening yourself as a leader. I would be curious to know if you're already doing some things. So if you have already been diving into live streams like this, or webinars or classes, or you found a really interesting blog or a podcast or a book, or all the ways that you've been working really hard to grow yourself as a leader, I encourage you to please share those in the comments so you can benefit the other people in this group, and that you can benefit from them as well. One of the things that I have been doing as a leader to help during this time, I have gotten back to reading very consistently. I love to read. I have learned to do it in the morning, not at night, because for me, if I do it at night, I get through 2 or 3 pages and that's all she wrote. So now I do it in the mornings, and I've been reading a classic book that's been on my list forever, which is called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, and he is the author who wrote the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. It is a wonderful book, all kinds of life lessons in there. I highly recommend it. So I've been doing lots of reading, and I've also been connecting with a lot of other leaders and a lot of other coaches and business owners to support one another during this time. So that's how I've been working on my leadership during this time. Please share how you have been working on your leadership. And we are going to get started on 3 ways you can continue to grow as a leader. So, a lot of these trainings, including some of my own, have focused on some leadership skill and some leadership mindset. I encourage you to continue that type of professional development, but I do want to introduce some other ways that maybe you haven't thought of that could really benefit your leadership during this time. And the first one is to start to assess where you are as a leader, both as a self-assessment, but also with your team. So different organizations use assessments in different ways. But often we don't use these as effectively as we could when it comes to our leadership. And when we do use assessments, we often have people who are above us assessing our leadership skills. There is value to be had in receiving the feedback from people who are above us and supervise us. But the real feedback and the real wisdom comes from the people we are leading. Who knows better than they about the way that we lead? So some organizations in their annual performance reviews will do some type of a 360 assessment. You may be one of these organizations. But most don't. And even in the organizations that do use these types of assessments, they tend to use them once a year at performance review time and then never again. So my recommendation, my first recommendation of the three to you to continue developing yourself as a leader during this time is to start to have some wonderful conversations with those you lead about how you're doing as a leader. There's a lot of ways to go about this. You can do it collectively with your entire team, and or you can do it one-on-one with each of the people you supervise. And in those conversations, you can also set it up in lots of creative ways. So you may just have a conversation, semi-unstructured, to talk about how your leadership is supporting your team, is supporting the individual members of your team, where there is room for you to provide more effective support. You may consider using some pre-thought out questions that staff can think about ahead of time and respond to. You may have a type of survey that you send out to your team, and then you collect the results and look for patterns in what people are telling you. You may use an assessment instrument. There's lots of those out there that talk about effectiveness as a leader. I have one that I have created to look at the 4 main areas of leadership. I'm very happy to send it to you. If you are interested in receiving that assessment, just drop the word assessment in the chat and how I can contact you, or I've already put my email in the comments so you can contact me and I can share an assessment that I've created that may be beneficial to you. But it's a great time to really dig into how you're doing as a leader and getting that information from the people who know your leadership best, which is those you are leading. So I do want to throw in a bit of caution here, which is if this is not the type of conversation you're used to having with your staff, then tread lightly, because there are a lot of implications of having this type of conversation. And if your staff isn't used to this type of honesty and this type of trust, you need to build that up over time. So if this is new territory for you, don't dive right in and say, tell me everything I'm doing wrong as a leader, right? Because the trust has not been built up yet, and your staff doesn't yet know what you're going to do with that information. For many of us, unfortunately, we've had leaders reach out to us in the past and say, I want the honest truth. Tell me exactly what you think about how I'm doing as a leader. And we are honest, and it comes back to bite us, right? It shows up on a performance review, or we just feel a shift in the relationship. So we have to make sure that the trust is there before you dive into such a conversation. I also encourage you to, depending on the conversations you generally have with your staff, it can be very open-ended if you already have a very open relationship with them, but most people benefit from some type of structure. And when they have opportunity to think about something ahead of time. So instead of having them, get on a call with you or a Zoom with you, and all of a sudden you just drop it on them, right? Without any warning, and say, how am I doing as a leader? Most people won't be able to formulate something really valuable when they don't have time to prepare. So that is the first area where you can begin to grow as a leader. There's lots of self-assessments as well. I'm happy to share some that I have created. So again, please let me know if you would like me to share those with you. The second area where you can continue to grow as a leader, in addition to your traditional leadership development, is this is a really wonderful time for you to explore the wonderful world of coaching. So some of you may have the benefit of already having worked with a coach. Many of you have not. And there is great value to be had in working with a coach for a lot of reasons. So one, when you are a leader, and particularly now when we are so physically isolated from the rest of our professional support, it can be a very lonely position. And that's true if you're the highest leader in your organization or anywhere that you are a supervisor or a leader. People feel this particularly strongly when they have been working with a team and all of a sudden they get promoted to lead that team. And that can feel really isolating, and a lot of shifts in relationships happen during that time. So when you work with a coach, you get undivided attention to your needs as a leader. And coaching, people are still figuring out exactly what coaching is. I think there's some understanding depending on how much you've already heard about it, or maybe you have some coaches in your life that you know. But there is a misunderstanding that coaches are essentially consultants, when the truth is coaches are sort of the anti-consultant, right? Consultants are people that you hire so that they can tell you what to do, and they can tell you how to fix what they see is wrong. And coaching is the anti-advice, where the anti telling you what to do, for a couple of reasons. One, research shows that people actually don't really like to be told what to do, even when they're paying someone to do it, right? So even if they're paying a consultant or some other support professional, we have this natural resistance and reaction to being told what to do. We are far more likely to take action on something when we're the one who came up with it. And this is how coaching works. You hire someone who, the mantra of coaching is we view our clients as creative, resourceful, and whole. And we work with clients in a collaborative way and a facilitative way so that clients can come up with their own ideas, their own solutions, their own path forward to reach the goals they've set for themselves. It's very client driven. You are in the driver's seat, absolutely. And the coach is there to guide you, to support you, to challenge you, to help you in whatever it is you want help on. And so in this situation with leadership, folks like me who are leadership coaches, we work with leaders to provide support, which is often lacking for them, to provide an objective outside perspective in what we're noticing. So again, we're not telling you what you should be doing, but as you share with us what your goals are, what your challenges are, and we get to say, you're telling me that you want to reach this goal, and the actions you're taking don't seem to be getting you closer to your goal. So what's going on there, right? It's not a judgmental process. It's not a critical process, but it does allow for critical thought to help you reach the goals you want to reach as a leader. So my model, and a lot of leadership coaches' model, is to connect with people who need the support and have the organizations pay for the service, right? We recognize, particularly if you are in the nonprofit world, in the education world, where you might not have the disposable income to invest in such a thing, it is considered a part of professional development. And in the highest level of organizations, executive coaching is everywhere, right? And a lot of compensation packages now, executive coaching is an expected part part of the deal. So folks at the highest levels know the value in coaching, and they're investing in that for themselves. So you have the opportunity to advocate for yourself. And if you have a professional development budget, or however your organization works, that you can approach your organization and say, I would like to get some coaching to help me in my leadership role. And we can talk about how to have that conversation. Many coaches, even before this situation that we're in happened, many coaches do a free introductory coaching session because they want to make sure for you and for them that it's a good fit, right? Anyone that is serving you in the human service world, you want to make sure that the relationship feels good, that there's a connection there, and that you want to work with one another. So our advice is always to shop around, so to speak, talk to different coaches, see what they're about, and see who you really want to work with, because coaching can get really personal and really intimate and really deep, and you don't want to have that relationship with someone that you dread talking to every time you have a call or a visit coming up. So during this time, I've noticed a lot of coaches are enhancing this. So even though a lot of coaches before were offering free sessions, now everywhere I look, there are coaches offering free sessions to support people during this difficult time. And it's a great opportunity for you to see if coaching might be for you, if this is a way you might like to grow as a leader, and ideally to get your organization to support you with that. I am also continuing, I did this before this pandemic happened, but part of the work that I do, I always offer an introductory session for you to see if coaching might be for you. So if you would like to explore that with me, I would love to explore that with you. If it turns out we're not a fit, I have lots of referrals in my network that I can send you to someone else who might be a great referral for you. So the third way that you can continue to grow as a leader outside of your skill development is becoming part of a mastermind group. So this doesn't have to look like a really traditional mastermind group, although it could. But the point is for you to find a group of other leaders that you can connect with and help support each other during this time. I do a different video every day on a different topic, and a lot of things I say get repeated. For my faithful followers, I know that you know this, right? It's not because I'm forgetful. It's not because I've run out of things to say. The things that I say over and over again are the things that are true, right? And I want to continue to emphasize them. And one of the things you've heard me say probably on every video I've done is that all the things we're doing during this time, all the adjustments we're making, all the ways we're being creative, we can take this back with us when this situation is over and be stronger than we were before, right? That's the aim, not just to figure something out to get over this and then be done with it. There is a huge opportunity right now for yourself, for your team, for your organization, for your goals, for your mission, for your clients, for every group that you touch. There's an opportunity here to say, how can we be doing this better, right? So a mastermind group or a support group for yourself as a leader, it's a great way for you to help work through some of the challenges you're experiencing during this time that may be unique to you. It might be technological challenges. It might be staying connected to your team. It might be communication issues, right? So some things that are popping up that you haven't had to deal with before and you don't know what to do, okay? Again, in that leadership role that can be really lonely and really isolating, having a support system around you is so valuable. One, It provides support and connection, which is needed for all of us, particularly in leadership positions where we come up across a lot of situations that are challenging and difficult and sometimes unclear ethically how we should move forward. And having to make those decisions on your own is really overwhelming. So think about ways that you can create a community of support around you. I am so thrilled. For the first time ever, I am walking the walk and talking the talk, because I too am trying some things new that I hope to carry with me after this pandemic, and that includes organizing mastermind groups. So I am really excited to start to build out small communities where we can meet every week, and we'll start with the next 4 weeks. We'll see how long this thing goes on, but it is for people who are dedicated to making the commitment to start this group, not only to provide support and connection to one another, although that's really important, but mastermind groups are great because they also provide solutions, okay? So it's not just for the connection, though that could be reason enough, but it's a way for you to come to the group with some challenges you're having, and then you have the collective wisdom of the group to help you work through it. So if you are interested in learning about what a mastermind with me might look like, please drop the word mastermind in the chat and I will send you all the information. If you are interested in starting one on your own, of course you have all the creativity in the world about how you want to do that. But I do encourage you to find some level of support and community as you're working through the challenges of this time. So, to recap, I'm going to go back over the three ways that you can continue to grow yourself as a leader during this time. I would love for you to also share some other ways that you are growing yourself as a leader, whether it's a particular training or book or webinar or podcast, or it might be a movie that you've seen or a documentary, or whatever ways that you are currently developing yourself as a leader. Please do share those resources and ideas with the group so all of us can benefit. So to recap, in addition to the regular professional development that you're doing, 3 ways you can continue to grow yourself as a leader during this time. The first is to use this time for assessment and to get a really clear look at how you're doing as a leader. This is necessary in our growth for leadership. It does take a lot of humility, right? Because the best feedback you're going to get in most cases is the feedback that's difficult to hear. But you need to hear it because if they're not saying it to you, but it's on their mind, you can be sure they're saying it about you, right? So wouldn't you rather hear it, even if it might be difficult to hear, so that you can do something about it? So there's lots of ways to do some self-assessment work. Again, I'm happy to send you some forms that I have. And then there are ways to do assessments from your team. I also have team assessments and program assessments, all kinds of assessments. I love assessments that you could be using during this time. The second way that you can continue to grow as a leader is to look into getting some coaching. So I am happy to provide a session for you, or I'm happy to connect you with some other referrals for coaches. But take advantage of this time where lots and lots of coaches are offering free sessions, and you can start to see if coaching might be a path that you would like to receive, and talk to your powers that be and make your case for why coaching is valuable and why you want your organization to invest in it for you. A lot of us also do team coaching, and there's all kinds of benefits organizationally to coaching. And the third way for you to continue to grow as a leader is to start to create a small, dedicated community for yourself. So places like this are great. Connection is great any way we can get it. But the benefit of a mastermind group is it's a committed group of people who are dedicated to supporting each other for the duration of the group. So many times masterminds meet in perpetuity. Sometimes they meet for a year. Sometimes it's for a handful of months. Right now, we're rolling it out as a 4-week to just get through the crisis period and then to revisit and see where we are after that. But I'm happy to share with you my ideas of what our masterminds will look like, but you are also able to try out your own and what kind of community can you create to get the support that you need. So those are the 3 ways. I also want to offer up something to my Facebook Live visitors because you have been so supportive and wonderful of the work we're trying to do. And part of the feedback I've been hearing is that people really enjoy the live streaming and people's eyes are also burning, right? Like all of us are on video all day, every day. So I said now everyone's been jumping to go to video. Now I think the pendulum's going to swing the other way where people are saying like, I cannot go to another Zoom call, right? I'm going to lose it. So what I am going to offer to you is an opportunity to do some development and self-reflection. I have 2 workbooks that I've developed, and one of them is called The Tools. And it's an exercise of 17 skills as a leader, and it gives you an opportunity to start to think about each of those areas. And there are exercises for you to do to grow and learn when it comes to skills. And then the second book is called Beyond the Tools, because you know my model is skills are important, but they're not the only part of being a leader. There's also a leadership mindset and our investment in our growth and our desire to do this leadership work well. So currently I have a lot of free resources on my website, catherinespinney.com. These are my 2 paid ones. They're generally $19 each, but for you, I'm going to cut the price in half. So each one will be $9.50 instead of $19 for each book. And even better than that, if you buy them both, I'll give a further discount of $15 for both of them. So if you are interested in getting that code and getting some ebooks for you to do some self-reflection and some self-work that don't involve looking at a computer screen, I'm very happy to send you the code so that you can benefit from those ebooks. I'm so grateful for your time today. I'm so grateful for your leadership. I hope that as you continue to focus and dedicate on supporting the teams that you lead, you are not forgetting yourself. Please do continue to take care of yourself. Please do continue to invest in yourself during this time so that you can continue to grow as a leader. Again, if you have any resources that you would like to share with the group, please do so in the chat. If you'd like me to send you the assessment, the information about the mastermind group, the code for the ebooks, I'm happy to do all of that. Also, if you're interested in setting up a coaching session to see what that might be like, I'm very happy to do that. I'm at Coach Kat at catherinespinney.com. My address is in the chat, but I'll type it again because I see we have a lot of comments coming in. Thank you. I'll hang around for any questions or comments people have. I'm getting better with my timing. I try to do these 30 minutes. Last week I was going 40, 45, 50 minutes every day. So I'm getting better there. If you have to jump off, I appreciate your time. Please do continue to connect with us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 1 o'clock, to talk about 3 team building activities you can start using immediately. And please bring some of of your own to share with the group. On Wednesday, for those of my folks who work with students, we're going to talk about 3 ways you can stay connected to your students during this time. On Thursday, we're going to explore one of my favorite coaching concepts, which is that our thoughts create our feelings, and we have the power to create the way we want to feel. So we're going to talk about the 3 steps for how we can choose to feel the way we want to feel. That's a really cool session. You don't want to miss that one. And then Friday is 3 things to know before you start your own business. And we'll talk about some things for you to think about and explore, some questions and answers about my journey starting a business and where you're at starting your business, even if you're just at the very, very beginning stages, or you're even before you're in that pre-contemplation stage for my social workers out there. If you are, this is even before you're really thinking about it, this Friday's for you too. So we can start to talk to other people who have entrepreneurship on their brain and build that community as well. So thank you so much, Fran, AJ. We'll send you, I'll go back through the comments. It's, part of the live journey and joy is the comments coming in, and I'm also learning to make sure I say what I need to say and get through the comments. So a lot of them I get to after the fact. If you have sent me a comment, I promise after this is over, I'll post the video. I'll respond to any comments that you have. And please do share the video with anyone that you think may benefit. And I look forward to seeing you the rest of this week. Again, take care of yourselves, take care of those you lead, and lead on, my friends. Take care. Have a wonderful day.